Have any of you guys ever moved into a new place and felt like a fish out of water? Well, that's how I'm feeling in this new town I just moved into. I moved over here because I heard there was a housing crisis in the area, and I decided I should make it worse. I pride myself in being a big reason why people go homeless. Anyways, let me stop bragging and get into the story. After I got my things settled, I decided to try and introduce myself to the neighbors. I went next door and knocked on the door, but no one answered. I knocked again, figuring whoever's inside is a fat hippo and can't get to the door quickly. However, to my surprise, a frail, ugly, skinny man opened the door. I nearly passed out from how much stench this guy gave off. He desperately needs a shower. I greeted myself, telling him I was his new neighbor and he should be glad some beauty finally came into town. The guy simply stood there, eyes wide open. I said, I know, I'm an outrageously handsome guy. If you want, I'll give you an autograph for only $300. Instead of graciously accepting that generous offer, the freak just started smiling. Immediately, I told him to close his mouth because his breath was absolutely rancid. He then said something about fresh meat or something, I wouldn't know though. I ran away because the odor coming out of his mouth was borderline radioactive. If you guys don't want to smell like that loser, then I recommend using Native. Native has a wide variety of products that'll keep you from stinking it up. Their products are all natural, not that I care, I litter every day. The neighbors here seem insufferable, but maybe there are some fun things to do around here, I thought. I drove to town in my Bugatti, making sure to throw bricks at the homeless people. I finally found a bar after 20 minutes of driving, sighing in relief that there was something interesting in this ghost town. I entered the bar, kicking down the trash can to let everyone know I'm there. As expected, everyone turns around and they all have ear-to-ear grins. I wasn't surprised. Everyone should be happy to gaze upon my majestic face. I walk up to the bartender, asking for a Zafiro Añejo. A Sigma like myself can only drink the most luxurious liquor. The bartender doesn't stop smiling and simply says,
"You're next."
I was like, after who? No one besides me is asking you for anything, and even if someone was, you should stop whatever you're doing to serve me. He just kept smiling, along with everyone else in the bar. Since this retard wasn't getting me anything to drink, I flipped a couple of tables before I left. That bartender clearly didn't use Skillshare, a platform where you can get great advice from various professionals around the world. If I couldn't even have fun at the bar, there was no point in staying here. However, I had to leave my mark somehow. As I was thinking of ways to ruin this town, I got stopped by a police car. Great, I thought. Another nerd. He's just gonna come up here and say what they always say. You can't be going 120 and a 40. You'll run someone over like that. Like I don't already know that. I stop anyway. Maybe I can ruin his day. The pig comes up to my window, grinning the same way those morons at the bar did. I rolled down my window and waited for what felt like an eternity for this guy to speak. After about 5 seconds of no communication, I sped off. I have better things to do than watch some pig smile at me. I arrived home, frustrated at the thought that this town could be so boring. I went inside and started devising a plan on how to ditch this town while also leaving the housing rates in shambles. I can't think on an empty stomach though, so I ordered some food on DoorDash, a convenient app to order food from when you don't feel like leaving home. After about 5 hours of planning, I heard a strange noise coming from my backyard. I ran outside with a crowbar, ready to beat down whoever decided to invade a Top G's property. In the middle of my backyard, I saw a giant hulking figure. It looked like a Sasquatch mixed with a werewolf. Surprisingly enough, the thing actually talked. It said,
"You've made a terrible mistake coming here."
Buddy doesn't know who he's messing with. I smiled, thinking about how he's gonna piss his pants in fear in a second. As I began to walk towards it, it screamed at me. I waved my hand over my nose. Bro needs to keep his mouth shut. His breath was putrid. It smiled and then began to run towards me, when all of a sudden an eagle flew into its face. It started yelling,
"Wow, where the hell did you come from? This town isn't supposed to have animals!"
Clearly, he doesn't understand that Mother Nature wouldn't allow someone as pathetic as him to fight a Sigma such as myself. I walked back into my house, glancing back to see the eagle stealing the thing's wallet. As soon as I walked back in, it hit me. I should commit arson and burn all these houses to the ground! That way everyone here becomes homeless, except for me of course. A top G is never homeless. After I finished gathering the things I needed to commit arson, I started hearing a bunch of screaming outside getting louder and louder. Are they throwing a parade? I thought. Of course, they realized that I deserve a parade for even giving this town a chance. I'm still gonna burn it down, but I might as well join the festivities. I walked outside, dancing, expecting to see everyone else dancing. Instead, I saw what seemed to be everyone in the town running towards my house, screaming and smiling. Unbelievable. These guys can't even throw a parade right. While everyone else was still a good 500 feet away, this one kid was in front of everyone else, much closer to my house. He slid over my Bugatti, and I lost it. I threw my crowbar at him, knocking him down. I wasn't done though. I ran over to him and started stomping him in the neck, then picked up my crowbar and bashed his head over and over. Nobody messes with a top G's Bugatti. I looked back up and the townspeople were about 300 feet away now. Since this parade looked like hot garbage, I began to walk back inside. That's when I hear a car horn. This guy in an RV ran down all of the townspeople, leaving no survivors. It turns out this was my DoorDash. Took long enough. He apologized for being so late, his excuse being that the closest McDonald's was about 50 miles away. I socked him in the face for being 5 hours late and told him to get lost. After he left, I quickly ate before I began to pour gasoline across the entire neighborhood. As I was pouring though, I heard someone running from behind me, but before I could turn around, he pushed me down. This guy must have lost it. He's gonna look unrecognizable when I'm done with him, I thought to myself. I turn around to see the cop from earlier in front of me. Instead of smiling ear to ear like he should be, he looks pissed. Confused, I asked him what the hell did he want. He replied,
You've ruined everything. This town was supposed to get its fresh meat today and turn down the music! Ahem. This town runs on human life, and instead of letting us kill you, you've caused our downfall. Not even our leader, Hans the Were-Squatch, could end you. Well, I'm here to end you myself.
After hearing all of that, I couldn't help but laugh, realizing that I have ruined this town after all. I guess a top G never fails in his mission, whether he's aware of it or not. I noticed he has a machete in his hand, and he swings it down on me, but this guy's a fat loser. He isn't hitting anyone. After I beat him to death, I pissed on his body before finishing up with the gasoline. The pig most definitely would not have survived the killer in Dead by Daylight Mobile. I light a cigar before wondering where I should head next. Whatever. I'll figure it out on the road. I get in my Bugatti and throw the cigar on the ground, setting the entire neighborhood ablaze. It'll get to the town eventually. Anyways, to everyone listening to this, remember this piece of advice. Don't frick with a top G.